Debate on the bill. Gentleman from the 22nd, Delegate Linville is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, I have the distinct honor and privilege of chairing your Committee on Technology and Infrastructure. But today I just join you as one of 100 members of this House. And you'll recall a year or two ago we modified our higher education funding formula. And we said that the three things that we want out of higher education in this state were for people to be able to stay here, to graduate on time, and find gainful employment. What you've heard today is that there is a 0% unemployment for this purpose coming out of these programs. Every single graduate we heard in the Committee on Technology and Infrastructure just in May, every single one of them gets a job. Every single one. So the question that I would pose to the entirety of the body is, what do you want to reward in higher education? If you believe that there is any place for higher education to be funded by this government, do you want to reward what you said that you wanted, what we passed overwhelmingly? We passed overwhelmingly a bill that said higher education would be funded based upon those metrics. Did they stay here? Did they get employed? And did they graduate on time? That was it. Check, check, check on this. There's no request for ongoing funding here in front of you. This is for $45 million for this building. But it's not just this building. The grants that have been mentioned and the partnerships that have been mentioned. Department of Defense has already given $5 million to help outfit this building and to run this center. But it's actually another 15 next year, I believe, and another 15 the year after that. So your $45 million will generate you an additional $30 million just from the Department of Defense. In addition to that, there's very good indications that the Appalachian Regional Commission is looking very strongly at this for additional grant funding. You know, West Virginia has an opportunity to lead for once on something. We've done a lot of difficult work in this body, not just this week, not just the last 3 days, not just the last 3 years, but probably over the last 15 to 20 years, we've been trying to determine how in the world that we're going to get this economy back on track, and we're starting to do it. You know, I had a conversation out in the hallway earlier today actually with a candidate for office. And I asked him why he wanted to join us. And he said, you know, you guys ticked off a lot of those boxes, you know, that are obvious things that we need to do, right? I want to get in and dig in, and I want to see us grow and succeed for my kids. That was his answer to me. I think that's great. This is another opportunity to do that. You know, based upon the debate today, I can't name the president, who must not be named, but that individual funded privately our state's flagship university, West Virginia University, for $25 million for the Ascend West Virginia program. That's been brought up here in debate. You want to know something? That program brings job seekers and people to move into our state, to the New River Gorge, to the Greenbrier Valley, to Greater Elkins, to the Morgantown area, and to the Eastern Panhandle. But there's one area of this state that's not mentioned there. That's Cabell County. That's where Marshall University is. That's where the man lives. He put his money where his mouth is. And he's done it for all across this state. I would ask you to think about that for a second as we consider what we're trying to do here, right? Moving on a little bit further. We heard in the Finance Committee yesterday that this isn't just about basic cybersecurity. They're looking at bringing in a quantum computer, right? This is absolutely incredible technology that you're hearing about in Silicon Valley and some of these things. Our chairman of the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism just said to you, and I'll paraphrase here, that he was a little bit tired of the defeatist kind of attitude. And I actually wrote down the quote. Quote, we're not big boys, and quote, we're not going to compete with them. Will you tell that to us when we funded Nucor and we're bringing in a $3 billion steel plant, or when Procter & Gamble chose to come here with our friends from the Eastern Panhandle, or when Berkshire Hathaway decided that we could start building titanium for the aerospace industry in Jackson County? You know, I just can't believe that anybody would be here in a defeatist mindset. Why on earth would you run for office if you didn't believe in yourself and if you didn't believe in your constituents? Guys, we are competing. We're competing right now with the big boys. And it turns out we're becoming one. There's no question about that in my mind. There's been discussions here about all of the various difficulties that we have throughout all of government, right? But haven't we been preaching year after year after year that we can walk and chew gum at the same time? And we are. And we are. Historic surpluses, tax cuts, you name it, we've done it. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the work that we've done. I know there's been disagreements from some of my colleagues on the other side, but I think that the results speak for themselves. Some of the questions have been, why now? Why would we bring this up in a special session? The answer is because there are 12 to 13 other states that are competing for this. And I got on the phone with Marshall University this morning and asked them, okay, why now? Is there any reason that we can't do this until January? The answer is that if we delay right now, that this partnership, these programs can go to Virginia, they can go to Tennessee. And I don't want to be asking myself, what if? What if we had just done what we said that we could do? What if? You know, folks, we can lead. I will end with a quote from my favorite president in history, that's Ronald Reagan. The crisis that we face today doesn't require some of the sacrifices that we've seen from our servicemen and women, but it does require our best effort and a willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, and to believe that together, with God's help, we can and we will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We're West Virginians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
Is there debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there are 65 ayes, 29 nays, 6 members absent. A majority